Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today after the old day job, I am off to check out the new horror film, Weapons. Weapons is directed by Zach Cregger and it's starring Julia Gardner and Josh Brolin. It tells the story of a community, where the school in this community more particularly, where all the kids but one in a class just disappear one night. One night, in the middle of the night, all these kids just leave their homes for no reason. No one knows why, except this one child. So it leaves this community wondering why all of these kids except this one, and what in God's green earth caused this to happen. This film looks like it's going to be one crazy freaking mind trip, to be perfectly honest. This trailer looks crazy. There is all sorts of stuff going on in this trailer besides just the kids running off into the middle of the night. And also, this comes from Zach Cregger. Some of you might know him as the director of the film Barbarian, which also was another movie that exceeded expectations from the trailer. I remember watching the trailer for Barbarian going, this movie's gonna suck balls. And it ended up being, I think it was my favorite horror film of that year. I can't remember exactly, but I did really enjoy it. And then some of you might know Zach Cregger as one of the whitest kids you know, and that's not just a title. That was the name of the comedy group that he was in. It was on the Independent Film Channel, I believe. I used to watch it back in the early 2000s. Freaking hysterical. It's just one of those things where it's really strange, where really funny people end up making these really scary movies, but have this great way of throwing in some just perfect levity into these films. That's what I thought about the movie Barbarian, and that is what I'm also hoping to find with the movie Weapons. So you know what? It is enough of me sitting here jibber-jabbering on. First off, I gotta get to the old day job, and then I'm off to check out Weapons! Welcome back, just getting home from Weapons, and guys, this movie was messed up in all the right ways. So let's get this started, shall we? Now, normally I have negatives and positives, but to be perfectly honest, I have nothing. I got nothing negative, I've got nothing mixed. This is a freaking perfect horror movie in my mind. I don't think I could even find one little nitpicky thing wrong with this movie. So let's just get into those positives and start showering this movie with praise. The first thing I want to talk about is the acting in this film. Everyone does an outstanding job. This film is extremely well acted. All of our lead actors do exceptional jobs. I do want to say one thing about one actor, and that is the actor, the young boy who played Alex, the main kid, the one who doesn't end up Naruto running down the road in the middle of the night. And he is played by Carrie Christopher. Awesome last name, buddy. Let's just say that right out the gate. This kid does an outstanding job. I always get a little bit worried about children in horror films because, I mean, they're in a horror film. They're surrounded by scary horror crap all around them, and it could really affect their performance. But this kid does an outstanding job in this movie. He is thrown into some extremely weird circumstances, and he holds character and does an excellent job throughout the entire film. And to be perfectly honest, even though all of the other kids in the movie don't really have what you could say fleshed out characters, all the kids do a really great job just being creepy as hell. This is one of those creepy kid movies, and it is really well done in that way. The story itself is really where this movie shines. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give away any spoilers, and it's really difficult to talk about this movie because the story of this film is, in all honesty, what I loved the most about this movie. It's not super complicated. It's pretty straight to the point. It's just extremely intriguing, and it does a great job of throwing a bunch of different things at you to kind of keep you off the scent of what is actually going on. And then when you get into the third act reveal, it is extremely satisfying. I will say that I've figured out some hints and all going into this where I was figuring out where things were going, but I didn't know if I was right or anything, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, I figured this out really early on. I just started to kind of notice certain clues and everything in this film that kind of gave me a little bit of what was going to happen in that third act reveal, so pay attention to the surroundings and what's going on in this movie. But the story and the mystery and everything that's going on in this film is just outstanding. This movie is not a slow burn by any means. Its story keeps you intrigued and on the edge of your seat throughout the entire thing. The fear in this movie does rely very heavily on overwhelming dread throughout the entire film. I felt very uneasy. It's one of those movies that's extremely unpredictable. You really do not know what's going to happen next. And it's not just like random bullshit like, jump scares and everything. Jump scares that are in this film are 100% deserved, and they're really solid. It's not just something jumping out you going, wow! They do a really good job. There is lots of dream sequences in some parts of this movie, and I'll be honest, I'm not generally a dream sequence kind of guy. I've always thought that they're kind of hacky to be thrown into a horror movie because it gives you the opportunity to play with different elements of, surrealism and try to make something a little bit scarier and all of that, but it really doesn't do a whole much to the story of the film. But in this case and all, it really helped with the characterization of our main characters, with just how they're dealing with the trauma of what is going on in this town around them. So one of the first times, I will have to say, yeah, good dream scares, guys. Very well done. I like the way all of that was done. There's some really awesome creepy elements throughout this entire film, and some also extremely well done practical effects. There is some gore and blood in this movie. It's not overwhelming, it's not too horribly graphic and all, but it is 100% definitely there. There are some very brutal scenes in this movie, but it's nothing that, in my opinion, it's nothing Terrifier level. Let's just put it that way. But the gore and everything that's done is also handled very good and very practically, and it looks very solid and real. In all honesty, guys, I really don't know what else to say to tell you how good this film is without giving away any more details about the plot. The cinematography is outstanding in this film. I just thought that it really brought in more of the creepy vibe in this movie. So many really great shots, really good elements that you use the camera to build very tense, scary moments throughout the entire film. So in all honesty, guys, this film is 100% shooting on all cylinders, and it is an absolute must-see if it is in theaters in your area. This movie is pretty well big right now, and it was really cool. It was really awesome to go into the theater and have a full theater. I haven't been in a sold-out theater in a little bit of time now, and it was really cool being in there with all the energy and everything with everyone around me. If it's one thing I absolutely love seeing with a group of people is horror movies. For me, the feeding off of the audience and everything just really helps with the experience of the movie. When others around me are feeling that same tension and suspense, it really draws it more into me too, and I really love it. I guess in that sense, I'm a horror movie energy vampire. Well, guys, I don't know how else to put it, but this movie has solid praise for me. This is a high recommendation. This is one of those weird weekends where I do not know which movie to actually say, go out and see this one over the other. Strange Harvest, my previous review that I did just last night, one hell of an amazing horror film also. Loved that movie, and I loved this movie also. This one falls more into what you would consider a normal horror movie. They don't use a lot of different tricks or anything like that. They don't try to, reinvent the genre or anything. They just get in there, tell an excellent story, and get out. That's the way this movie works. Now, the pacing in this film is outstanding also, because this movie clocks in just over the 2-hour mark, and let me tell you guys, you are not going to feel it whatsoever. This movie just flows along like butter. One thing I will tell you that about the structure of this film real quick, something that I really liked was they would focus in on just one character and tell the story of what that one character was doing during the events of something else that was going on. And it really helped bring the story together and give everything a lot more depth. Nothing seemed like it was happening at random, because when something would happen, the movie would basically go off and show you exactly how all of that came about. So I really appreciated that, and I liked it. There is no Deus Machina in this film. Yes, let's just put it that way. All right, guys, as I was saying, solid recommendation from me. Get out there, see this movie in theaters. If you have the chance, go see Strange Harvest and this movie. In fact, if you could go see a double feature in a day, what a hell of a good double feature that would be, huh? All right, guys, thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna. Hot damn, that was weird.